Welcome back to Briterion Sports, episode 2. It's me, Kevin. I'm here with my friend Byron. Say what's up, Byron.
Hey, how's it going?
Thanks for listening to us again today. So, what's happened since we last spoke in the sports world? Super Bowl happened. That didn't go how we thought it would go. We were both thinking Chiefs. We were hoping Chiefs. But that did not happen. So, Philadelphia Eagles are new Super Bowl champions. What do you think about that, Brian?
Just very surprised, the fact that a three-peat was on the line for the Chiefs. I think most people thought either they were going to win or it was going to be very competitive. I knew the Eagles were going to bring it. They've been good all year, but it was very disappointing to see Patrick Mahomes lose the way he lost. It almost seemed like they just didn't have any life in them. Like, from the beginning, the Eagles just came ready to play, and it was never really a contest. So, from a fan perspective, I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, it wasn't even a good game, right? Like, if you're going to lose, at least lose in an entertaining fashion, right?
Right. It was like, these are supposed to be the best two teams, and it was one-sided the whole way. And, I'm pretty sure everybody in that went to see that game was probably disappointed. Just as a fan, you want to see good football, and that wasn't good football from both teams. Only one team.
Right, yeah. And do you feel like there's something kind of suspect about the Eagles winning?
I almost want to say that it could be. I don't know if I'm not going to say that, it was rigged for the Eagles to win, but it almost felt that way because, the Chiefs scored their first touchdown late in the third quarter. So as good as you are, for you not to score in almost 3 quarters of football, being that it's a Super Bowl, I just find that very odd.
Right.
I would almost say it seemed a little suspect the way they lost the game.
Right. It's like either it's rigged or this is the shittiest choke job I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, one or the other. And, there's a lot of money in sports, so maybe there was something behind that with the money for the Eagles to win. Who knows? But it definitely looks suspect.
Right. And where do you think the Chiefs will go from here?
I don't know. I think, I saw something with Patrick Mahomes saying that they'll be back or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I think as long as he's there, I think Kelsey, even though he's getting older, returns. I think they'll be in the hunt, but I kind of feel like this was their last time getting there, maybe for a little while. Other teams are hungry, and the fact that they couldn't get their three-peat, I don't know. I just kind of feel like this is a step back. I think they'll be in the hunt, but I don't see them winning a Super Bowl, at least not next year and maybe the next couple of years.
No? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I feel like this could go a couple different ways. Like, in a way, maybe it's a good thing that they didn't win 3. I mean, for them, for themselves. Maybe it's a good thing they didn't win 3 in a row because it's like, where do you go from there? You know what I'm saying? Like, you might as well retire at that point.
That's true.
Like Jordan or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's like, okay, well, can you win 4? I mean, 4 is just, that's just impossible.
Right.
Like, 3, if 3 is impossible, 4 is, like, definitely impossible. So,
Correct.
Like, in the sense that they didn't win 3 in a row, I feel like Mahomes is so damn competitive that it keeps that hunger there. And he might be like, damn it, like, I'm, like, so determined to get back to that point where I can win 3 in a row. It's like, it doesn't mean I will win another 3 in a row, but I can see him being more steadily hungry. Yeah. He'll win at least another one in the next few years. I mean, he might even win another back-to-back in the next few years.
I think that because he's still kind of young. I think he's going to be 30 this year.
Yeah.
And losing resets the hunger.
Yeah, exactly.
You lost, so now you have something to be hungry about now.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So now you had that taste of defeat, so now you want to take that back. You're like, I don't want the Eagles to obviously repeat or another team to have that feeling that we had the previous year.
Right.
And so I can see them winning in the next few years. I don't know if it'll be next year, but as good as Mahomes is, I think he has another 2 to 4 year window where he can probably
be in his prime.
At least get 1 or 2 more, and then that would put him right there with Tom Brady, like,
right.
in that conversation. I mean, he already is in some people's eyes, but getting him 1 or 2 titles more will definitely put that.
Would solidify that. Yeah. Because, he won that first year, right? And then the next time he lost to Brady, right? He lost to Brady. Yep. And then I think that fueled his hunger, that losing, you know what I'm saying? That time to Brady. So it's like, that's why you see this run, this back-to-back run. And I think losing this time is going to be like, fuck, I want to.
It's going to do the same thing.
Yeah. He's going to be more fired up again. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah. No, I think, I didn't think about it like that, but I think maybe it was good he lost. And you would say, how could you say that? Because you need to lose so you can get, like you said, once you get 3, I mean, you already did something that I don't believe any other team has done. And if they haven't, then you kind of feel like, well, what else is there for me to capture? Obviously, you want to keep going, but you start to lose a little bit of motivation because you've done something that most people or no one has ever done. So losing gives you that fire back. So it was, people say things are meant to be the way it was. They were meant to lose, and Mahomes is going to be back. I'll say that.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
He's a competitor. They're a good team. They have a good coach. There's no reason why the Chiefs can't make another run at it at least 1 or 2 more times. Right.
Like, I could see him kind of steadily winning more so than Brady did, in the sense, like, out the gate, Brady and the Patriots, they won like 3 out of 4 championships. Like, his first 4 years, they won like 3 or something like that.
Right.
Very similar to Mahomes. But then there was a dead period after that, and even some of their best teams, like their undefeated team that played the Giants, still didn't win the Super Bowl. So it's like, even though they made a few Super Bowl appearances, the fact that they didn't win any, it was like sandwiched, like their championships were kind of sandwiched. The first few years and his last 2 years in New England.
They were sandwiched off.
Yeah,
right.
And then him leaving and then joining the Bucks, where he did win that one-off one.
Right.
He managed to do that. And it's just funny how he was, I guess, like, he was so determined, I think, to prove Belichick and the Patriots, that he was so driven to win that year. Because the next year, he shat the bed. He was horrible that next year,
Yeah.
And that's
he
really
put everything into that previous year.
Yeah.
And then he obviously fell short big time the next year.
Yeah, and that basically forced out his retirement.
Yeah.
And that forced the Tom Brady roast that we saw last year.
Yeah, they all gave it to him pretty good.
Yeah, which he deserved. So I think maybe the biggest casualty of the Super Bowl might be the Kelsey-Swift relationship. Like, I kind of could see, like, the fact them losing, it almost affects...
It can catapult the relationship to go in a negative way.
In a way,
right?
Yeah,
I didn't think about that. Because now it's like, when you're winning, everything is on a high.
Yeah,
relationship's on a high, you're happy. When you're losing, it's obviously the opposite. Now there's negativity, and you're not happy about stuff, and it can reflect how they look at each other as far as in their relationship.
People were thinking he was going to pop the question that day, and she was dressed in white or whatever. Like,
and if they would have won, it would have set the we won a championship, a three-peat.
You're on a high. You know what I'm saying?
The high
what better time?
The high got taken away. Yeah.
So this game might have left him at the altar,
so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. So that I could foresee this relationship not surviving this game. You saw the halftime performance.
I did.
What did you think of it?
I thought it was pretty good. Kendrick came out there, and I like how, he kept teasing the audience about the Not Like Us song. Like, they would play it, stop, play it. He's like, not yet. And then finally he played it. So, we were like, are we going to get that song? And, I think everybody knew he was going to do it, or was expecting him to. But I thought the dances were well. He had a lot of people dancing with him. He brought out Mustard, the producer who did Not Like Us. All the people he had, Samuel Jackson helped him, and then he had Serena Williams out there dancing, quip walking. So I thought it was well put together, and I think there was some symbolic messaging in the music, and the stuff that he was wearing. Kendrick got a little deep where I think you kind of have to read between the lines to catch what he's saying and the messaging and the visual. But overall, I would say it was a good performance. Yeah,
so I didn't see the halftime thing. Still haven't seen it. I didn't really watch the game because I was kind of busy. I just heard about it and saw highlights afterwards, and I've heard that the halftime performance is kind of like you either love it or you hate it.
Yeah.
Probably younger hip hop fans and hip hop fans in general loved it, and probably older people and non hip hop fans didn't like it. Really, that's kind of what I've heard. But I didn't see it because I'm a Drake supporter. In their whole beef, I'm supporting Drake, and nobody has Drake's back right now, so I'm sticking with him. I don't leave a sinking ship. Nobody has his back. All his friends and former friends have stabbed him in the back, and it just shows you that these hoes ain't loyal. You can't be friends with anybody because they're just gonna stab you in the back in this industry. So I'm riding with Drake, and I'm supporting him any way I can. He's my fellow Scorpion brother, and he produced the greatest album of all time. Well, one of the greatest hip hop albums to me, which is Scorpion. I love that album a lot. It's very underrated. But yeah, that's pretty much our Super Bowl recap. And the fact that he didn't get a three-peat, Mahomes being, is kind of fitting because we're mainly going to talk today about a man who got 2 three-peats, right?
That's correct.
And who's that man? That man is
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jeffrey Jordan, right?
That's it.
Born in Brooklyn, right? But
Yeah, he was.
everybody thinks he's born in North Carolina, but he grew up there, right? And why are we talking about him today? Because it's his birthday, right?
Today happens to be Michael Jordan's birthday. That's correct.
And my friend Byron, he has a real good gift for remembering birthdays. It's like he hears someone's birthday once and he remembers it for the rest of his life. It's just a gift. Like, when did you discover that you had that gift, Byron?
I think, to be honest, around the time that maybe me and you connected at
Really?
Target.
Okay.
Because that's when I remember doing it a lot with other coworkers. And
FYI, sorry to cut you off. Me and Byron met while working at Target.
yeah, that was how we connected. But around that time is when I discovered, or when I kind of realized more or less that I really had it. Probably did it before, but I don't think I did it.
You weren't
as much.
conscious of it, right?
Yeah, I wasn't as conscious until then, I would say.
And did it just strike your mind at that moment? Like, oh wow, I can remember everyone's birthday.
I mean, I think I just started putting it to the test, and when I was able to do it, I just wanted to do it more and more and more.
Right.
And then I just realized, like, man, I really have something here. Like, I'm pretty good at this.
It just stuck with you.
It just
right?
stuck, yeah. And
okay. What's your mom's birthday?
September 29th.
Okay. Your dad's?
His is tomorrow, February 18th.
Oh, well, congratulations to your dad.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Like, the fact, I'm asking you that because a lot of people don't even know their own parents' birthdays. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's a sad fact.
Yeah.
There's certain people that you have to know, whether it's your girlfriend, wife, significant other,
yeah,
any sibling, brother, sister, and your parents. And then I would also say close friends. Like,
yeah,
that means something to you. You probably should know their birthday.
Right, exactly.
You know.
So, yeah, but a lot of people don't know that. But you know a lot of celebrities' birthdays, right? Like,
yes.
Biggie's birthday.
Yeah. May 21st.
Tupac's birthday.
June 16th.
Paul McCartney's birthday.
I think you stumped me on that.
Yeah, you don't remember that one? Okay.
No.
Pete Rock's birthday.
June 21st.
DJ Premier's birthday.
March 21st.
And he shares a birthday with who?
Large Professor has that birthday.
There you go. So, that's a test of his birthday remembering gift.
Yeah.
Trust me, he's not looking at Wikipedia right now,
No.
So we're talking about Michael Jordan because it's his birthday. We already kind of touched upon him last week. I feel like almost every conversation we have, it always comes back to Jordan. You know what I'm saying? So in honor of Jordan, I guess we're kind of going to, go over some Jordan memories that we have and basically what makes him the GOAT of all time. So what do you think makes him the GOAT? What are some arguments that you have, Brian?
I think they said in 1 year he had like so many things. He had like an all-star appearance. He was MVP. He led the league in scoring. He was All NBA. I think he made the All Defensive Team. I forget what year it is. It might have been '88. Gilbert Arenas talked about it on his podcast, and he said no other players got all those things in one year. That's just one reason, but.
And he didn't even win the championship that year.
No, because he didn't win his first one until 1991 when he beat the Lakers. But
right.
I would think the main reason that I think that Jordan is the best is just because you never felt on the biggest stage that you were going to lose with Jordan, you know. And I remember as a kid watching him, I went against Jordan all those times. And it wasn't because I didn't like Jordan, because I knew how good he was and I wanted to see him lose. You know, it's like you want to see the best player lose sometimes. Uh-huh. And, you know, that never happened. He lost on his way to the finals early on, but every time he got in the finals, he always won 6-0.
Right.
And, you know, some people will say, well, there's more to it than that. But to me, that shows the most, because that's what you play for. You play for championships. Mm-hmm. And even though there's other players that have more than 6 championships, they weren't, they didn't do it in the fashion that Jordan did it. 2 3-peats. He's 6 times finals MVP. So that means every time he was the best player out there.
Right.
And, you know, his impact, he's worldwide. I don't think any other player, you know, is as known as Jordan. I mean, you can almost say Jordan and probably Michael Jackson are 2 of the most famous people, you know, in the world at what they did. You know, one basketball, one in music. So when you just look at what he's done, the impact he's done, the fact that he's never lost, you know, and then everything else, you know, selling the shoes, that all adds to it.
Right.
But I don't think, and the last thing I'll say that also makes him the greatest is that everybody patterns their game after him. You look at Kobe Bryant, he wanted to be Jordan.
Right.
You know, you look at LeBron, what number is he wearing? 23.
Exactly.
It's just universal. Like,
yeah,
the greatest players that we like to look at, they're looking at him. So it's just like he's like the standard, and I don't think no one's beat that standard yet.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Byron. He really is a Superman. He's a superhuman player. Like, you know, he won in college too. You know what I'm saying?
He did.
They won the NCAA tournament. Yeah. You know, and he hit like the game winner basically.
That was like the first time I think people really started looking at him, which got him to the NBA, by the way.
Right.
In '84, I think he made it that shot in '82. I forget the year, and then, you know, he gets to the NBA in '84. But you're right. That was like, to me, like him marching into the NBA. Like, who is this guy?
Right.
Anytime you make a game winner, it's a big deal, and for the championship. So to me, that was the start of his journey going in.
Right. Forward. So I mean, in that sense, he showed that he won at that level, which, you know, Kobe and LeBron, you know, can't claim that because they were never there. You know what I'm saying?
They came out of high school. So
yeah.
They didn't have that privilege to win a college championship.
Yeah, which is hard in and of itself. You know what I'm saying? And when you look at it, a lot of, you know, college players who've won NCAA tournaments, that hasn't translated to the NBA really. You know,
it happens more times than not. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of players that have had stellar college careers and not stellar NBA careers.
Yeah,
it doesn't always transfer.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that he was able to do it at both levels, that's just amazing. You know. So he went at the college level, and he goes to the NBA, and, you know, he struggles a little bit, but, you know, these are, you know, rookie mistakes, and, you know, he still showed you what he could do. I mean, didn't his rookie year, was that when he got 63 in the playoffs, or was that later?
That was a little later.
Oh, okay.
That was like 2 years into his career.
Right, against the Celtics, right?
Yeah, it was like 86.
Yeah, and so, you know, I've noticed particularly in the NBA, you see like, you know, you see teams get to the playoffs and they kind of have to lose a few times before they break through, right?
Tends to happen that way. It happened with the Lakers. That's my team. They lost. Shaq and Kobe lost 4 years before they won with Phil Jackson. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
So. And we'll talk about Lakers. We'll do a special on them sometime, you know, that particular group of the Lakers, because I really like that team.
Right.
But yeah, you saw Jordan come against the wall against the Pistons, you know, Celtics and then Pistons for a few years, 88, 89, 90, you know. So I'm kind of struggling there. But 91, they finally beat the Pistons and they get to the finals and
beat Magic.
Yep.
Beat the Lakers.
Beat Magic and the Lakers, the team of the 80s, right?
Right.
You guys should be listening to my Briterion Collection Movies podcast, FYI, because we did an episode on Space Jam where I kind of go on and on about Jordan as well. And, you know, just the fact that he was able to win those 3 in a row. And it was just like, even as a kid, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he's not going to lose. Like, I just, you know, when I saw him in the finals, it's like, oh, he's not going to lose. Like, he's just, like, superhuman, you know what I'm saying? Like, he always managed to eke it out.
Right.
Kind of similar to, like, when the Yankees were on their run, like, when, you know, Jeter got there. You know, obviously they won in 96, but they lost in 97. So when they came back in 98, and they were able to win 3 in a row, it was like, these guys can't lose. Like, you know, there's just something magical to these guys, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I guess there's no coincidence that Jordan would, like, sign Jeter on his label, you know, that he had with Nike. Yeah, you know, those guys are cut from a similar cloth. Like, you know, like
Wow.
Jeter, Kobe, Jordan, like, they just have, like, this killer instinct where they just, like, need to win, you know? So we saw Jordan have that first three-peat and also being a part of the Dream Team in 92, which is what really kind of exploded basketball globally. And he was like the leader of that. So, you know, Magic and Bird were there, but they were kind of fading out, you know, because, you know, they was already far into their career. But this was Michael's prime. So I remember seeing like some footage of Jordan walking the streets in Barcelona during that Olympics, and he looked up and there was this big ass billboard of him. You know, he was just kind of like, oh wow, like he was just like in awe of it. He was kind of like, oh shucks, like wow, this big ass billboard of me. You know, it was just kind of funny. But it's like he never looked like, you know, nervous or anything. Like I never saw him. He always took everything in stride. That's what I loved about him.
Right.
So when he left, you know, obviously his father getting murdered was horrible and traumatic. So, and even the guys who killed his father, he was wearing a Jordan jersey, right? Did you hear that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He was like wearing a Jordan jersey when he killed him.
That's news to me. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That even shows you they're fans, but still did
a heinous act.
Heinous
right?
act,
Yeah. So, and then, you know, when he left, I was like really crushed by that. I was sad. You know, I was like, you know, the fact that he wants to play baseball, you know, like that came out of nowhere, you know, and it was like, damn, like I can't believe he left. You know, I wanted to keep seeing this, you know. So he left to do baseball, and you know, and I heard that he was struggling, and he really, you know, he wasn't working out. So when 95 came around, and he said, I'm back in the NBA, like I was like, yeah. So, you know, I was like really, you know, I really lit up to hear that, because it was just like, yes, like finally, like I need to see more of him, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it just wasn't enough, his initial run.
Right. And,
you know, this second three-peat that they go on, I feel like it's even more impressive than the first, honestly. You know, that 95, 96 team is considered the best of all time, right?
Yeah, it is.
The fact that they only lost like 10 games, right?
Yeah.
10 games. And obviously the Warriors lost less that year, but they didn't win the championship. So the fact is, you know, you have to do it all. You know, you have to win the championship if you're going to have that good ass of a team. Similar to the 98 Yankees, that team is considered the best because they had like the best record at the time. But a few years later, the Mariners ended up having the best regular season record, but they didn't win the championship. So it's almost like, okay, what does it matter then? You know what I'm saying? Right. Yeah. So you have to do it all, you know, and the fact that Jordan's been able to do that, and you know, 6-0 in the finals, that really says something, at least to me. You know, that means something to me. The fact that he never lost when the lights were the brightest. And, you know, I was talking to this guy from work. I don't know if I mentioned it last time, where he was talking about, you know, in the playoffs, it's all about matchups and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember this guy back in the day when we were working at Target. you know, they were talking about Lakers, and like everyone was a Laker fan at that time, so they were like, oh, you know, and I remember asking the guy, because I heard him talking basketball with this other guy, and I was like, well, it doesn't make sense. Like, how the hell can, you know, the Lakers beat, you know, the Suns, but they can't beat the some other team, the Jazz or something, when the Jazz beat the Suns? You know what I'm saying? Like the math doesn't always work out like that, right?
Right.
But then he was like, oh, it's just matchups. You know what I'm saying? Like he reduced it to that, basically, you know?
Right.
But then I thought about it, and I was just like, he's like, really? Is it all matchups? You know? Because, like, Jordan was able to win the championship all 6 of those years. And was it just because of he matched up well against every team he played? Like, I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I think it's just his desire. His will to win was stronger than everyone else's. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And, you know, like you're saying, he's an icon. You know, him coming out with the Jordans, the shoes. You know, it's like the shoes have taken on its own life after a while. You know, like, they were popular then, but I feel like they're even more popular since after he retired. You know what I'm saying? Like, more of a fashion way sort of thing. Right. You know what I'm saying? I looked at it, like, when I was a kid, I got a few Jordan shoes. I got, like...
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah, I got some, like, in 91, 92, 93 or something like that. Yeah. But it wasn't, like, a big thing, like, at that time. It was just, like, you know, if you're into basketball, you like these. But now it's, like, everybody knows what that is, you know?
Right.
But that goes to show you that his impact has been even more. Like, he still has the most popular shoe, even though he's been retired for how many years, you know? These other guys just can't outdo him. LeBron can't outdo him on that. He doesn't, you know, Jordan, just that logo alone of him jumping, you know, it's like it's based on his All-Star game, the dunk contest dunk he did, right? Like that Jumpman logo is basically based on him jumping from the free throw line, you know?
Yeah.
Just even that is iconic. You know, you see his silhouette and you know it exactly. Like when he had his cologne, it was just like his silhouette of his head and you knew that was him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and the fact that he had a cologne, like, do you see LeBron coming out with a cologne? No. Yeah, I actually like that cologne. I thought it was pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And you kind of had a theory about the whole dunk thing, or you said your brother had a theory about that?
Yeah, I mean, he was just saying that, you know, it's a knock on LeBron. You know, you look at the LeBron Jordan conversation of greatest, and LeBron never chose to be in the dunk contest. And they asked him this year about it, and he said he doesn't regret it, but you know, the fact that Michael Jordan did the dunk contest, he showed you that, you know, hey, I'm a hell of a dunker, I'm a hell of a player, and I'm not afraid to get into a contest and show you that I can win at that. And for whatever reason, LeBron chose not to, and that's why my brother said that's a mark against LeBron, and it's part of the reason why Jordan, you know, wins out over LeBron.
Yeah, and I mean, I think to the average listener, they might think that that's kind of dumb, like that's kind of superficial, the fact that he's not doing a dunk contest. But I feel like that means something, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean, a lot of the other greats did it. You know, Kobe Bryant, Vince Carter, Dominique Wilkins. You can keep naming people. These are great players, some of the greatest to ever play. And for whatever reason, LeBron, you know, chose not to participate.
Yeah, I don't know if LeBron was just scared of getting injured by doing that, or, you know, he's scared of losing. Like, he might lose to some scrubby-ass dude who dunks better than him.
I think so.
You know?
You're putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And you don't want to lose, being that, you know, you're LeBron James. You know, he had a lot to live up to, his name.
Yeah.
I think it was more like he didn't know if he would win.
Yeah.
And he didn't want to put himself out there and have the risk of him not winning.
Well, see, just the fact that he's so conscious of that makes Jordan better. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Jordan didn't give a shit.
Jordan
you know
was confident. It was like, I'm doing it regardless.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he came out victorious when he did it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And, you know, at the end of the day, this is about entertainment. You know what I'm saying? People come, they pay to watch you, and they want to see you do shit. So this is a spectator sport. We want to see the supposedly greatest do their thing, you know, and he's deprived people of that his whole career, right?
Yeah.
But the fact that Jordan did it, you know,
that's a markup for Jordan.
That's another notch on Jordan's belt, right?
That's another thing he has over LeBron for sure, 100%.
Yeah. And you know, obviously Space Jam. You can listen to our other podcast on that.
And it's funny to go with LeBron and Jordan. We all know Jordan's was the better Space Jam.
He also did the better movie.
I've seen LeBron act, and he's okay. I saw the Space Jam. It doesn't measure to Michael's Space Jam.
Right.
Just my opinion. But,
yeah. I agree with you. It's just, is it just something about the 90s, Like, is it like just the 90s were just so great? There was just something in the water at that time that's died out over time,
Right.
I don't know. But, LeBron is like our age, right?
Yeah, he's 40. Just turned 40 in December, so.
Right, and it's funny because I feel like I've always felt like he was younger than me for whatever reason,
Yeah, but he's actually the same age as us.
Right, I don't know. It's like these celebrities, they age differently.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so he would have been in our same situation watching Jordan play, That's why he wears the number that you're saying, That's why anybody wears number 23 now, is because of Jordan.
You're paying homage.
Nobody gave a shit about number 23 before.
No. It wasn't a popular number prior to Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. He made that number.
Yeah.
And even Beckham, when Beckham signed with the LA Galaxy, he wore number 23. 23 is like 16 in football. It's like 10, number 10 in soccer. Like all the greats, every sport has like its number. Yeah, it's like 42 in baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
Or 3 in baseball, being Babe Ruth. Like, there are certain numbers that are special, and he made 23 famous.
That number,
yeah. Yeah. What more can we say about Jordan that hasn't already been said? He's the greatest. And that's why we salute you, Michael Jordan. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a few cigars. I know you like those.
I'm sure he is. I'm sure he's living his best life, who knows what he's doing on his birthday, but he's a billionaire. He's the greatest basketball player in both of our eyes, and pretty sure he's celebrating it somewhere, having a good time, as he should.
Yeah. And hopefully he's not letting his idiot son bog him down.
Yeah, he's been in the news for some negative stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The whole dating Pippin's wife and ex-wife, obviously.
Yeah.
And he got recently drug charges.
That's
right?
what I mean. Yeah. So I think they got caught. He got caught with some cocaine on him, possession or something.
Yeah.
So I don't know what his son is doing. He's obviously not. Doing the right things if he's getting caught with cocaine on him and stuff. But,
right.
Like you said, Jordan, just enjoy your birthday. I hope the best for your son. I don't know the situation there, but.
We hope everything's good there.
We salute you. You're the inspiration still to, I think, every basketball player. Even if a kid is born in the 2000s or 10, 12 years ago, they'll still somehow be connected to Jordan because their favorite player that they're probably watching probably grew up watching him, and people still look at videos of Jordan, and his name is still around. His shoe is still selling, like you said. Yeah. So even though you're not born in the time of him, you're still going to know who he is my point.
Yeah, exactly. His legacy will live on maybe forever. That's it for Briterion Sports. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
See you next time.
Later.